Hey guys, Chuck here with you on this beautiful Sunday morning that God's blessed us with. I wanted to share with you guys just a great experience that Jen and I had on our vacation down in South Florida. And it wasn't just the sun and the beach and the fishing and the water and all those things that come with being in South Florida that made it so awesome. It was the ability we had to take some time away, step back, and just kind of evaluate where we are in our lives right now. And so we did what I jokingly call the Mac audit. So we did an audit of our lives. We looked at everything from where we are with our careers, where we are with our finances, where we are with our marriage, and just assessing where we are as parents, assessing all these things and seeing if there's some changes that need to be made. If we're okay with where we are, have we reached the limit? Are we still stretching ourselves? Are we still using our gifts and abilities the way God has called us to in each of these situations? And so, there were some things revealed to us where we need to make some changes. There were some areas revealed to us that we know that we have become stagnant. We know that we have become complacent, comfortable in certain areas, and we have not continued to move forward down the path that we know God has for us. And so then we start to figure out, you start to ask the question, why? Why have we become so comfortable? Why have we stopped pursuing these things? Why have we stopped, reaching forward as God's calling us to? And we realize a lot of it is just fear. It's fear of change. It's fear of doing something new. It's fear of moving outside of your comfort zone, that area where you have some kind of control because, you've been there for so long. Moving out of that and going into something new, going into something different, it completely freezes us. And many of you I know have dealt with the same thing. So then we start asking ourselves, well, how do we move past that? How do we get past that fear and move forward into the path that God has for us? So there's one little section I wrote about this. I started reading back through my book, and there's one little section on page 69. I kind of talked about this a little bit. And it said, during my life, I've read different Bible plans and verses focused on the need for us to change to become aligned with God's plan for our lives. If things aren't going right in your life, this may be a sign something needs to change. Many times you already know what those changes are, but you still don't make them. Why is that? I believe the main reason is our fear of change. Change requires you to stop doing something you've become comfortable doing. Change also requires you to do something new, something you've never done before. You develop fear and anxiety when you look at these things. Even though making the change puts you on the path God has for you, you resist. The fear and anxiety overtake you. You want to change, you know you need to change, but you've become comfortable in where you're at. You feel it's easier to just exist in your life instead of making the changes needed to truly live your life. You thought about making the changes, but you worry about things like losing friends and what other people would think. This type of thinking keeps you trapped where you are. If you've been feeling the call to change some things in your life, today is the day to start. Don't let fear of change, fear of what others would think, and fear of trying something new keep you from becoming who God has called you to be. Make the life changes needed to become aligned with God's plan for your life. It's time to truly live your life instead of just existing. And that last piece, really hit home for us as we were talking about this is, do we want to exist in our lives, or do we truly want to live our lives? And I think so many of us, and again, we speak, from our situation and what we've realized over the past, couple of weeks since the vacation is we've been existing. In many areas, we've been existing because it's comfortable, not wanting to stretch ourselves, not wanting to go outside of what we know is our comfort zone, but it's caused us to just exist in life. And then we realize that's not what we're called to be. That's not how we want to live life. And so it came down to, for us, okay, either we make the changes that we need to make so that we can stop existing and we can start living in these different areas of our lives, or we just exist. And so we ask ourselves, can we do that? Can we be people that just exist in life? Not really getting all the joy and satisfaction we can out of our lives, not really utilizing our gifts and talents and abilities to the full measure of how God calls us to use them. Can we just ignore all those things and just exist? And the answer for us was no. No, we can't. So now that you get that no, now that you've said that, what do you do next? So for us, we came home, and immediately when we got home, we came downstairs, we wrote on our board all the things that we had talked about. And we started making a plan. We talked about the areas that we needed to change. And then we listed out a 1 year, 3 year, 5 year plan for how we want to make those changes. How are we going to step through and make the changes that are needed? And then in that 1 year plan, what are those things we're going to do daily to help us get to that point in the areas that we want to adjust? And it's helped us tremendously, because now we hold each other accountable, because we've written it down. We've written it down and said, we want to change these areas, and here's the things we need to change. And also, here are some things that we value. We went through a values worksheet, and we kind of listed those things that are important to us. Those things are important to each of us, that mean the most to us, and then we look at how those areas are impacted by these changes we want to make. And so we put all that stuff together and we come up with a plan. And that plan now has steps that we can take each and every day to help us to continue to move forward. And we know we have to do that. We know we have to write down these steps. We know we have to hold each other accountable. We know we have to make progress, and do something to move the ball forward each and every day, or else fear is going to creep back in again. And that's the way you have to overcome the fear, is you have to keep momentum going. You have to keep moving. You have to keep doing something to progress you forward to that place that you want to go, and then all of a sudden, those things you were so worried about, they don't look so big anymore. Those things you were so scared of, you realize, I didn't need to be scared of those at all. Because now you've really looked at it, you've digested it, you've built that plan, and you understand how you can get from A to B to C to D and on down to Z, where you want to be. So that's the great revelation that happened for us when we were on vacation. And what I pray is that each of you are able to do an audit of your own lives, to step back and take some time away. Doesn't have to be on vacation. It could be in your house somewhere, going to a room, quiet time, just looking at your life, assessing the areas of your life that you want to make changes in. And then asking yourself why you haven't made the changes, writing those things down. And then figuring out, okay, how can I progress to making the changes I want to make? What are the things I need to do? What are the things I need to start putting into action so that I can get to where I really want to go? And then you just start stepping through it. Holding yourself accountable, stepping through it, making some actions each day, and you'll get to where you need to be. And God will continue to pour into you. Those gifts and abilities will continue to shine. They will shine even brighter. And then you'll have the faith and confidence to really move forward and achieve what God has for you. So I hope that is a blessing for each of you that's listening to this. I know this has been a true blessing for Jen and I, and we truly look forward to seeing how God continues to move us down this path. And we'll continue to pray. We'll continue to have faith. We'll continue to hold each other accountable as we move down this path, and just look forward to how God is going to open things up for us in the future. I pray the same for you guys. I want you to have an awesome day. Enjoy this blessed day that he's given us, each and every one of us. If you're watching this, you've been blessed. You're awake. You're alive. Enjoy this day, and I'll talk to you again soon. God bless, guys.